great time we've had. I have two jobs. One is to tell a story, but the other job that the youth tellers don't know this about is to give the test at the end. Did they explain that? There's going to be a test. Because we have to find out whether that's the only story you know, or maybe you have more stories that you haven't even discovered yet. But let's start with a story, okay? I was about 8 years old, and my unnecessary little brother Joe was about 6 years old. And there was something we had been begging for years. Because, you know, if you beg long enough, don't you think they'll finally get it? We'd spent years begging our mom and daddy to get us a huge swing set to go in our backyard. One day our daddy got home from work and he said, "Guess what, boys? I got the swing set." My little brother said, "Where is it?" He said, "It wouldn't fit in the car, silly. Tomorrow some men will come in a big truck and they'll back in our driveway and they will put that swing set in our backyard." It was summertime, so the next day, my brother and I watched out the window all day long. Finally, way up in the afternoon, here came the truck. It backed in the driveway. Two men got out, and they unloaded in our backyard, not a swing set. They unloaded a bunch of pipes and parts and little bitty pieces. Did it have to be put together? Yeah. Now, kids, here's a question. Do any of you happen to have that kind of dad who starts doing something and never gets finished? Well, our daddy came home and he said, "I'm going to go put the swing set together." He went out in the yard and he worked about 20 minutes and then he was tired. He came inside. We said, "Is it finished?" He said, "No, it's not finished, but it's okay to play with it." Well, we went outside. Here's how much he had done. He'd put up the legs. You know, they look like a big letter A on each end, even with a little bar across there. The legs and that big pipe at the top, and that's it. We said, "What are we supposed to do with that?" He said, "Come here. I'll show you what's fun." He took us over to one of those big legs, and he got my little brother to jump up and grab the little bar. And he said, "Now, start swinging your legs. Swing your legs. Swing your legs. When you really get going, let your legs go under the bar between your arms, go all the way over and let loose and land on the ground." He did it. And our daddy said, "Wasn't that fun?" And my brother said, "No." And daddy said, "Let me show you how to make it fun." He said to me, "You count how many times he does it." And he said to my brother, "You do that over and over again as fast as you can." You know how many times he did it? 32. You know why he stopped at 32? You can't keep doing that if you're throwing up all over the yard at the same time. I thought, this is fun. Well, the next day he went outside and he worked on the swing set again, and now we had everything finished. Next to the leg at this end, two chains came all the way down. There was a swing at the bottom. And then two chains came about halfway down. There was a bar in between them and two little rings you could grab onto. My mama said, "I think that's called a monkey bar." I thought, oh boy, we're getting a monkey too. And then another swing, and then all the way at that end, you know this part, where it has two seats on it, and you sit on there, and you go, eh, 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 eh. We love that swing set. But more than anything else, here's what I loved. I loved pushing my brother. We would go outside, and he would say, "Will you please push me?" And I would push him and push him and push him. And when I got him really going, when he would go way out that way, the legs on the back would jump up off the ground a little bit. And then he'd come way back this way, and the legs on the front would jump up off the ground a little bit. And if I really got him going, I could get the whole swing just walking back and forth. It would go all the way down through our yard. My daddy'd come home, have the swing get way down there. He'd pull it all the way back up. We'd start over again. One day we were out in the yard, and I was doing two things. I was pushing my brother, and I was looking around to see where Mama was. She was nowhere. So I pushed him harder. I pushed him so hard that his total vocabulary dropped to a single word. Higher! 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 I said, hang on. I think I can make you go all the way around. I gave him about 3 more gigantic pushes, and then I gave him the hardest push since the world was made. And when he went that way, he didn't come back. Those legs on the back went off the ground, but they didn't go back down. They just kept coming up, 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 up. The whole thing went right over in the yard. He hit the ground so hard, I thought, I killed him. It just knocked the breath out of him. He was there on the ground just going, I thought, should I run and get Mama? Or should I run the other way and just keep running? Well, about that time he made a little sound, and when I realized he was alive, I went over there and I started pumping on him, pumping on him, pumping on him. And by the time I got him pumped up again, we had generated so much adrenaline that we got the swing set put back up, and our mama never knew about it. Well, that night we were having our supper. There I'm at the table with my little brother. There's my mom and my dad. We're just eating our supper, calmly as everything. And all of a sudden my mama said to my daddy, she said, guess what happened today? They turned the swing set over. I thought, oh, how'd you know that? She said, I knew they were going to do it. My brother said, how did you know? We're the ones who did it and we didn't know. She said, I knew when you were born. Because that's what boys do. My brother said, if you knew we were going to do it, why didn't you stop us? That's what good mamas are supposed to do. She said, if I'd have stopped you today, I would have had to stand out there every day for 10 years and stop you over and over again. But I knew if you did it once and it didn't kill you, you'd never do it again. I said, why'd you do that? She said, because that's what smart mamas do. You ready for the test? Anybody here ever do something that you thought your mama didn't know about, and you found out later she knew all the time? Anybody ever accidentally hurt somebody you were playing with? Anybody ever get hurt because you did something that was just stupid? We're going to have more questions. Anybody ever go somewhere with your mom and you got lost? Anybody ever find or open or get into a present you weren't supposed to mess with? Anybody ever try to cook something and it didn't quite work? Anybody ever teach somebody smaller than you to do something you shouldn't have taught them? Anybody ever have somebody bigger than you teach you to do something they shouldn't have taught you? See, we're doing better now. Not all stories are funny. Anybody ever have a pet you don't have anymore? Anybody ever have an older relative you don't have anymore? Anybody ever have to move from where you lived and you didn't want to move? We all have stories, don't we? We're just full of them. Now, there's one more story, but it's for the people out here because you're not old enough to answer this. Anybody ever try to drive a car? No. Well, we've had a wonderful time being here, and if you'll think about all those questions, you will have stories that will last you forever and ever. Thanks for such a wonderful job. Thank you.